Pulness by Hans Rosling. Before anything else, let's have a quick test. Answer these 3 questions in your mind and take note of your answers. Number 1. In the last 2 decades, the number of people living in extreme poverty has A. Almost doubled, B. It's more or less the same, or C. Decreased by half. Number 2. How many of the world's 1-year-old children have already been vaccinated for a certain disease? Is it A. 20%, B. 50%, or C. 80%? Number 3. How many people in the world today have access to electricity? Is it A. 20%, B. 50%, or C. 80%? Did you take note of your answers? Did you have second thoughts? Well, here comes the right answers according to the United Nations statistics. For number 1, it's letter C. In the last 2 decades, the rate of people living in extreme poverty decreased by almost a half. For number 2, it's letter C. 80% of 1-year-olds all over the world have been already vaccinated. For number 3, it's letter C. 80% of the people in the world today can use electricity. How many correct answers did you get? Are all your answers wrong? Hans Rosling often started his lectures with tests like this. Earlier in his career, Hans got frustrated at how inaccurate the people's worldview is. He is angry of how the media makes poverty and violence seem so much worse. That's why Hans Rosling made it his life's mission to change and update the people's worldview. With the help of his children, Ola and Anna, they founded Gapminder. It's an organization which makes statistics come to life. Gapminder makes graphs and analysis more interesting and effective. In this book, you will learn about 3 instincts that we humans have. They are the gap instinct, negativity instinct, and straight line instinct. These 3 instincts blur our worldview. They make our opinions very far from the facts. Let's discuss them one by one. The gap instinct. What does gap instinct mean? It is our big misconception that the world is divided into 2, developing and developed countries. The West and the rest, rich and poor nations. There is no such thing. There is no gap. The world has changed for the last few decades, and we should also update our worldview. Let's take a closer look at the labels, developing and developed countries. Imagine a graph with circles in it. Each circle represents a country. The size of the circle represents the country's population. On the left of the graph, you can see 2 big circles, which are India and China. On the y-axis, it shows the percentage of children surviving from age 0 to 5. On the x-axis, it shows the number of babies per woman. So on the y-axis, you can see 50% at the very bottom to 100% at the top. On the x-axis, you can see from 8 children to 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Now imagine that you can clearly see a division. The developing countries, including India and China, fall on the left side of the graph. It shows that only 70% to 80% of children survive to age 5. It also shows that women, on average, have 5 to 7 children. Meanwhile, the developed countries, including USA and the European countries, fall on the right side of the graph. 90% to 100% of children survive to age 5. Also, there are only 2 to 3 babies per woman on average. What does this mean? The graph shows that there is clearly a gap between developing and developed countries. The gap instinct is true. But here's the catch. Listen carefully. The graph represents data from 1965. It shows how the world is in 1965, which is 5 decades ago. Why did Hans Rosling choose child survival to study our worldview? It's because it takes a society to raise a child. If all children in a community survive over age 5, it means that the water is clean, there is enough food, and vaccines are easily accessible. Mothers are well educated, and contraceptives are available too. Now let's see the updated graph. The graph that shows the state of the world in 2017, when Hans Rosling wrote this book. Again, listen carefully. In 2017, most countries have moved to the right side of the graph. Imagine them clustered in the top right corner. On the left side, which we labeled developing, only a few countries are still there. More nations are moving into the part labeled as developed countries. It simply means that these labels are outdated. They are already inaccurate. We should not use these terms anymore. In India, for example, over 95% of children survive to age 5. The number of babies per woman is 2 to 3 on average. This is in 2017, and India is already well fitted on the label of a developed nation. It is on the top right corner of the graph. So if these rich and poor, West and the rest labels are already inaccurate, what should we use then? What should we use to accurately study? What should we use to help more people get access to enough food, clean water, education, and healthcare? Hans Rosling suggests this: the 4 income levels. The world population is now 7.6 billion people, so imagine a picture with 7 human-like figures. They look like chess pieces. Each figure represents 1 billion people. Here comes the concept of 4 levels. In level 1 income, there is 1 billion people. There is only one chess piece. The daily budget of families in level 1 is only $1 per day. There are 5 children in the family. The father is a farmer and the mother is a housewife. There is no tap water. The children have to walk barefoot and fetch water from a well very far away. They also gather wood so that it can be used for cooking. The mother cooks porridge for the whole family. They eat the same porridge for every meal, every single day. When there is a typhoon, all the crops will be destroyed. The family will have no income. The 6-month-old baby daughter will die because there is no medicine for her cough. All the children are malnourished. Their lungs are weak because of the fire inside the house for cooking. This is extreme poverty. This is level 1. Statistics show that there are 1 billion people living like this in the world today. In level 2 income, there are 3 billion people. They live on a daily budget of $4. They can buy eggs and rice. The family does not have to grow crops for food. The father might own a bike which he uses to go for work. Still, there's no tap water, but the well is only a few feet away. The kids have slippers to protect their feet. The mother uses a gas stove to cook food. There is also a light bulb inside the house so that the kids can do their homework. The father saves money so that he can buy a mattress for the whole family to sleep on. Life is better, but when a child gets sick, the mother has to borrow money or the father has to sell the bike. In level 3 income, there are 2 billion people. Around the world today, 2 billion people are living on a budget of $16 daily. Wow, that's a great improvement. There's finally tap water and there is reliable electricity. The family owns a refrigerator where they can store food and eat various dishes. They also own a motorcycle which the mother uses to bring the 2 kids to school. Both parents have better paying jobs and they save for the children's college education. If anyone gets sick in the family, they can use their savings to pay the medical bills. Or if not, the whole family can enjoy a weekend vacation to the beach. In level 4, there are 1 billion people. They live on a budget of $64 a day. These families are well off. They own a car. They have various home appliances. The parents have high-paying jobs. And the children go to private schools. They cannot imagine living on a $1 daily budget. What level does your family fall into? Is it level 1, 2, 3, or 4? Again, remember that there is no gap. You must change your gap instinct. Majority of the world population today live in level 2 and level 3 income. Only 1 billion of people live in extreme poverty. Only 1 billion are extremely rich. Most of us fall into the middle. Even within a country or a province, there are families in level 1, 2, 3, or 4 income. So there is no them and us. Most people can now afford enough food, healthcare, and education. Most of the world population now have access to electricity and clean water. The world is becoming a safer, better place. Don't you agree? The negativity instinct. If these statistics did not convince you, here are more great information. Let's move on to the next instinct on our list, the negativity instinct. It simply states that people tend to notice the negatives more than the positives. We are always thinking that the world is getting worse. We like to see the bad than the good. It is more intriguing for us to discuss the negative things that happen rather than the positive. That is why crimes and crises are all that evening news talk about. Okay, let's be honest here. More animals are becoming endangered. Ice is melting. Our seas will probably rise by 3 feet over the next century. Overfishing and the deterioration of our oceans are getting worse. The collapse of the US stock market in 2007 was shocking. Many people lost their jobs, their money, and their houses. The system did not change, and the same problem can happen again. Let us not forget the problem of terrorism and territorial disputes. Take a deep breath. Breathe in and breathe out. Hans Rosling says that if we act now, if we use accurate data, and if nations collaborate, we can find peace, economic stability, and environment sustainability in our time. Imagine a world where no child would die of malaria, where there are no suicide bombers, where there are more protected areas for wildlife. Isn't that what we all want? Let's check our statistics. People in 30 countries are asked the question, do you think the world is getting worse, getting better, or just the same? Here is the rate of people who answered that the world is getting worse. More than 50%. 55% of Japanese say that the world is getting worse. 60% of the British say it, while 90% of the Turkish say that the world is worse than ever. Well, our goal is to think positive here. So let's also use statistics to destroy this misconception that the world is getting worse by the day. Let's talk about poverty again. Please take note that all the graphs that Hans Rosling showed are based on United Nations data, and you can access them anytime for free on the UN official website. We already said that the rate of people living in poverty in the world today decreases by almost a half. What is our proof? In 1800, 85% of the world population was in income level number 1. Most people are hungry. There simply isn't enough food. In the United Kingdom, children need to work so they could have money to eat. On average, British children start working at 10 years old. Also in the 1800s, 20% of the Swedish population, including Hans Rosling's relatives, migrated to the US in hopes of a better life. Most of them never returned to Sweden. Imagine a graph once again. On the y-axis is the percentage of people living in extreme poverty. So you can see there from 0% to 50% to 100%. On the x-axis, you will see the years. The x-axis starts at 1800, then 1850, then 1900, 1950, and 2000. You will see on the graph that from 1800 to 1966, the rate of people in extreme poverty is slowly decreasing. Let's repeat. Extreme poverty is slowly decreasing from 85% of people in 1800 to just 50% in 1966. Now in 1966, there became a drastic change. The world wars are over. There is a period of long peace. From 50% in 1966, the rate of extreme poverty changed to, listen carefully, only 9% in 2017. It means that by 2017, only 9% of the world population are living on a $1 daily budget. More importantly, extreme poverty has dropped faster in the last 20 years. It's faster than any other time in history. Let's take a closer look. In 1997, 42% of the population in both China and India are in extreme poverty. But by 2017, only 12% of Indians are extremely poor. It means that 270 million people have moved to level 2 or 3 from 1997 to 2017. In China, extreme poverty dropped to only 0.7% in 2017. That's 1 billion Chinese getting out of extreme poverty. How old were you in 1997? Did you notice the change in your family's lifestyle? Hans Rosling says that we should celebrate. We should be happy because in just 2 decades, 29% of the world population has escaped extreme poverty. This is one good reason for you to smile and be positive today. The straight line instinct. Now let's move on to the last mega misconception on our list, the straight line instinct. It is the idea that the world population will just keep on increasing forever, that more children will be born as time passes by, and eventually the planet cannot sustain our needs. Can you remember the story of Lord Krishna? The one where he asked a double amount of rice for every square on the chessboard. On the first square, he asked for 1 grain of rice. On the second, Lord Krishna already had 2 grains. On the third one, he already had 4. The number of grains doubled for every passing square. So he gets 8, then 16, then 32, then 64. By the last square on the chessboard, Lord Krishna received 18446744073709551 grains of rice. This is what the straight line instinct means. We expect the number on the graph to just increase exponentially. Okay, now let's try to test your knowledge once again. Answer this one question. According to UN statistics, there are 2 billion children living in the world today. They are aged 0 to 15. How many children will be here by year 2100? Is it A, 4 billion, B, 3 billion, or C, 2 billion? If we plot it on a graph, the line for letter A, 4 billion, is a straight line going up. Meanwhile, the line for letter C, 2 billion, is going up and then becoming a flat line at a certain point. What is your answer? You probably answered letter A, 4 billion, just like the social science teachers that Hans Rosling asks in conferences. Meanwhile, 26% of the experts at World Economic Forum answered letter C, 2 billion. Let's look at the graph from the United Nations once again to reveal the correct answer. It shows the population of children in the world aged 0 to 14 years old. It also shows the prediction of the UN for the future. On the y-axis, you can see there from 0 to 1 billion, 2 billion, 3 billion, then 4 billion. On the x-axis, you can see there the year from 1950 to 2000, 2050, then 2100. The correct answer is letter C. There will be 2 billion children aged 0 to 14 in the world by the year 2100. Just the same number as it is today. The correct graph is not the straight line. From 2000 to 2010, the rate of growth stopped. The flat line is already happening as we speak. The world population will not keep on increasing forever. The number of children born will not multiply as the years go by. UN predicts that by 2100, the world population will remain between 10 billion to 12 billion, and it will stay that way. Experts call this trend the flattening of the curve. Why is it happening? It's because today people are more educated. We have moved on from agriculture to digital age, so families do not need many children to help in farming anymore. There is better healthcare, so child mortality is much less. Parents do not need to bear more children. Today we have sex education and more access to contraceptives. Parents choose to have few children so that they can provide better and take good care of the kids. There is family planning to make sure that the children are healthy and well educated. Thus, the straight line instinct is wrong. In 1965, the average babies per woman is 5. But in 2017, the average birth per woman dropped down to only 2. The UN predicts that it will stay that way to 2100 and onwards. If we continue educating our children, if we continue improving our healthcare and family planning, UN's predictions will come true. Every parent wants to provide a better, happier life for the kids, right? This is how we can sustain our civilization on this planet. We do not have to migrate to Mars like in sci-fi movies. In this book, you learned about 3 mega misconceptions. They are the gap instinct, the negativity instinct, and the straight line instinct. You learned that the world is not divided into 2. There are no rich and poor countries. The labels developing and developed world are already outdated. You must update your worldview as well. If you have a positive attitude and determination, you can move your family from level 1 income to level 2, level 3, and even level 4. You also learned that you should not be negative. The headlines you see on the news are just exaggerations of the truth. There is lesser poverty in the world. There is lesser violence too. As the new generation, we have the power to make the world a safer and better place. This is not a cliche. If we choose to be more understanding of everyone's beliefs, if we choose to be more compassionate with one another, if we choose to be more caring of our environment, then our children will enjoy peace and sustainable environment. In this book, you also learned about the straight line instinct. The world population will not keep on increasing forever. We have reached the flat line where the number of children born is just the same every year. By year 2075, there will be 11 billion people, and it will stop right there if we make the right choices. Now that you have all this knowledge, what will you do with it? Whatever career you are pursuing right now, you can contribute to the change we want to happen in the world. Whether you are a teacher, a doctor, engineer, programmer, carpenter, or anything else, you can do something. You will become a parent too. You can build the future you want for your children. Think about it. You can watch the TED Talks of Hans Rosling on YouTube. He is a very funny and good teacher. Like in his foundation, Gapminder, Hans Rosling makes information more exciting and interesting. Hans died in 2017 because of poor health. But in his own little way, he is changing the world. You can do it too. So I hope you like the summary as well as our efforts behind it, And if you think we were able to create valuable content for you, you can show your love by giving a review on the Play Store. Jai Hind!